This is our review of Ultraman X Avengers Issue 1.
Yeah, it kind of picks up right where the Mystery of Ultra 7 left off. Uh, where last we left off, Shin Hayata, uh, he had lost his powers in this previous arc because Dan Moriboshi stole his Ultra energy to bring Ultra 7 back. And during this whole arc, we saw Moriboshi and Ultra 7 were trapped in that dimension where the Science Patrol has been sending the kaiju all this time. We found out the Science Patrol's weapons aren't killing the kaiju. They send them to another dimension, and they're only there temporarily. The kaiju in this series are manifestations of bad emotions, dark energy, bad things happening on the planet makes them come out of this dimension and get bigger too. So Dan was stuck there for years. When Science Patrol was first founded, he disappeared. Him and Ultra 7 survived there, and they died thousands upon thousands of times. You can't die in this dimension. But every day, Dan would wake up, he would get killed by a kaiju. Ultra 7 would get killed by a kaiju. And it destroyed them, like, mentally. Ultra 7 is in this, like, almost, like, primal state now. And Dan can't control him anymore. And this arc, so Hayata, during that, steals his powers back, fights Moriboshi, gets his Ultraman powers back, and Moriboshi's drained of the Ultra 7 for now. Hayata gives him a little, and he's like, I'll use it when I feel like I can control it. So that's where we left off. And they had left the Science Patrol because now they know the Science Patrol is controlled by an alien, Morheim. She's the one behind it. She killed tons of Science Patrol members in the past, and she's after them now. So now Hayata, Moriboshi, Fuji, and Ide from the Science Patrol are now on the run, and they're part of the Ultra Guard, which has built the Mech Jack, which is the comic version of Ultraman Jack. So that's kind of the catch-up here for everybody now, if you've not read it. You don't need to know any of that, though. I mean,
you don't need to know really anything.
It's referenced throughout this. There's a couple of instances, especially the whole dimensional thing, that get kind of referenced here. But that's your little backstory if you're new to this. You can jump into this Ultraman X Avengers, no problem. Opens up with... you can take it, actually.
Yeah, so they're on planet Zabra, and Galactus lands on it, and is like, I know you have intense abilities of illusion. To spare your planet, we would become Herald of Galactus, and he agrees. And then it cuts to Earth, and you kind of see Galactus, you see all the Marvel superheroes, and like this big purple light, and basically what they've done is they've decided we're just going to move Galactus somewhere else, not this universe.
Yeah. So they warp him away. Reed Richards has apparently built a device to warp Galactus away, but because Miles Morales has these multiversal connections, he gets pulled in somehow. And he ends up
he ends up in the Marvel Ultraman universe.
Yes. And Hayata, Fuji, and Ide are out on patrol when they detected a multiversal incursion thing. They were thinking it's another kaiju. And they get there and they find Miles. And Miles is like, hey, what's up, guys? He jumps out of the portal. And then a kaiju follows behind him. And they fight him, dispatch him. And Miles is like, whoa, does everybody turn giant here on this planet?
Yeah, so it's Zabra.
Zabra.
It was the Herald Zabra, and he had this purple device.
Well, they fight that monster comes out of the portal, and then Miles is like, I still detect something from my planet here.
Oh yeah.
And then they find Zarab has the, he's built like a giant antenna thing, and Ultraman is like, oh, I've seen this species before. They're very confrontational, dangerous, and Miles goes to fight it. He gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then that's when Hayata goes into Ultraman action. They fight, and then Jack shows up with the whole Ultra Guard crew there, and they're fighting. But Zarab's able to imitate abilities. It copies Miles' shock abilities. It turns into Jack. So there's a point in the fight where Ultraman has no clue which is the real Jack, and Miles like, I can detect the universal energy, and it's the one on the left. So he gets hit with the Specium beam, and he's like, well, it's too late anyway. He's been summoned, and the antenna shoots off energy into space, and then shortly after, the Avengers appear to rescue Miles, and they're kind of catching each other up on what's going on. Hayata's now, they're back at the Ultra Guard base with the Avengers, and
and the team is pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Captain America, the Falcon one, and both Spider-Mans, Peter and Miles.
Yes, Peter is there.
And Wasp.
Yes.
Which I really like the interaction with Wasp.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, Hayata's talking to Wasp. They're walking down the hallway. She's like, so he's like, so what's your power? She's like, oh, I shrink. And she's like, what's yours? She's like, oh, I get big. And she's like, you don't build androids on the side, do you? And he's like, no. She's like, good. Because it's an Ultron reference. Because in the comic books, not like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Ant-Man, Hank Pym, is actually the one that built Ultron and caused the whole end of the world with the Age of Ultron and everything.
Yeah. So I thought that was a cool... There was a lot of cool little Marvel references in these interactions.
Yeah.
Iron Man's gloating over the Jack mech.
Yeah, he's like,
man, he's like, I'm thinking too small here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, this is incredible. And he's like, you had 5 kids build this, and he's like, these guys are incredible. And then Peter's like, he's like, oh yeah, it's almost like he references the Japanese Spider-Man, Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, it's almost like what does he say?
He's like, it's like the Japanese Spider-Man that we encountered where they had a giant robotic Spider-Man. And he's like, man, if I just had a giant Spider-Man mech, I'd be just as cool as him. And he's like, no, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, Miles was like, yeah, you wouldn't be as cool as him. And Peter's like, yeah, I wouldn't be. It's like...
And then, they're having the whole debrief about kind of what we've earlier said with, hey, we accidentally sent Galactus here. We're going to help you. We're not going to leave you hanging. And Shin's like, yeah, we recently learned that just shifting all your problems to another universe doesn't really work.
Yeah. It's kind of a shot at them, but it also, he's like, yeah, literally it doesn't work. We've done it and it's not working.
Yeah. And, he goes to Moriboshi. And he's like, what do you do? He's like, he's the smart one. He's the superhero. And Shin's like, I'm not a superhero. He goes, she's clearly the normal one here. He's like, so what do you do? And he's like, I also have an Ultra inside of me, but he's injured and I can't control him. And he goes, oh, so you're like the Hulk.
Yeah.
And
so Tony's like, well, he's like, they want to build a device because Reed had this anti-Galactus device. He's like, we could use this device, and if we use the energy source that you use for Jack, we might be able to defeat him. And they're like, well, where did you get that source from? And they're like, well, it's kind of from the USP, and right now we're enemies of them. And they're like, well, can't you negotiate? And they're like, well, right now it's being run by a alien secretly, and we're public enemy number 1 with them. So like, all right, we're gonna have to devise a plan to break in. So the Avengers, the Ultra Guard are coming up with this plan to break into the USP to steal this energy source to build this device. But we find out that two kaiju have come through a dimensional rift and are now attacking the city, and these two are gigantic. And that's where it ends.
It's like a giant bird, giant turtle. It's Gamera and Rodan. They're attacking the city.
I believe I forgot.
I know they're not.
I forgot who the bird is. I didn't look up on like Ultra Wiki what kaiju were featured. I believe the bird might be Litra. Or I forgot the name of the other one that was in Ultra Q. It's one of those two birds, I believe. And I couldn't identify the other kaiju. It almost looked like Dino Tank to me without the tank.
Yeah. And then I thought one of the cool things that Shin kind of mentions in this comic book, let me just pull it up real quick, because they ask him like, well, why can't he just go? He's a superhero, and he reasserts himself again that he is not a superhero,
and he can't meddle in human affairs.
Yeah, he can't meddle in human affairs, and he doesn't meddle in human affairs, and he doesn't take place as a replacement of the justice system.
Yes.
I thought that was like a very... I want to get the exact wording of what he said. And, you know, I thought that was like a really... Again, like, really understanding Ultraman. Like, he is here to save people. You know what I mean? He's not here to just be your crash in, do a bunch of stuff, and leave superhero.
No. It's just, you know, another great representation of Ultraman. I mean, the comics are killing it, man, and they're really showing what Ultraman is. Between Along Came a Spider, this, we are in some golden age stuff right now for Ultraman.
Yeah, you know, they really, you know, Super Riot and Marvel really got lucky with this team that they put together for it, because it's just really good. You know, they have Kyle Higgins, Mac Room. You know, it's, you know, I don't want to get into, you know, obviously they worked on the Power Ranger stuff. They do Radiant Black,
Massiverse.
They did
Infernal Girl Red.
Yeah, all that stuff. So they have a really, really good team on this.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning they've been doing the Ultraman comic books, but this
I know, but like, I'm just saying the whole Marvel Ultraman world building as a whole.
Yes, no, it's a fantastic job. I like the Jack concept. It's so cool that they did the whole mech where it's combining parts and vehicles.
It's such a good idea.
In this comic, you don't really see the different parts yet. But in the Trials of the Mystery of Ultra 7, you get to see the different parts of the robot function. Really cool. Just looking forward to see where they go with this next. I hope we get another Ultraman series. I hope this isn't like the end.
Yeah. And then has there been like, so I'm reading digitally. Obviously you're getting the print versions. Has there been like an official word of what the issue count on this is going to be? Because on the Amazon app it says 4.
I'm pretty sure it's 4. Yeah, I was just gonna say I feel like it's 4.
I mean, these are long issues.
This was a rather long one. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that they could definitely fit it all in. Because it's quite long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't know if that was a mistake on the Amazon app or not.
No, yeah, and I definitely can't wait to pick this up in a trade paperback. This is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to finish off the collection. Hopefully, it doesn't take as long as Mysteries of Ultra 7.
Yeah. I believe the next issue has been pushed back a little. I think October 2nd is the release for issue 2. Mm. Issue 3 was supposed to be October 23rd. Yeah. I doubt we're going to get 2 issues 3 weeks apart. So I would assume the 3rd issue is going to get pushed back to sometime in November. And we're looking at this ending in December or January, I would say, with the 4th issue.
Yeah, and then probably trade paperback in the summer.
Yeah, definitely going to be a summer pickup there.
Yeah, same as the Along Came a Spider-Man.
Yep. Yeah. It's probably exactly what they intended. I wouldn't be surprised if they both released the same week.
That would be really cool. But yeah, I mean that's our thoughts on Ultraman X Avengers. I'm behind on the series. I have the trade paperbacks, but I just have not read them. I'm gonna be caught up by the time the next issue comes out.
Yeah, no,
because I want all this context stuff.
No, it's a really damn good series. I really wish more people talked about it. I mean, it's a great. We started reviewing. We did do one issue for the Mystery of Ultra
life
7.
got in the way.
Yeah, life got in the way, but yeah. Yeah, I will have the trade paperback review. Should be up on the channel soon. I don't know. Actually, I don't remember if I recorded it or not, guys. But it's in the works. So that will be coming out. I gave you guys a little rundown and the update on what had happened there at the beginning of this. So yeah.
So thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. See you next episode, guys.